Latest news. Shukai's family reveals shocking secrets about Tan Songyun to police. Hidden truth exposed. The corridors of Shanghai's police headquarters were rarely this alive with whispers. Outside, paparazzi lenses flashed like lightning against the midnight drizzle. Inside, a single name echoed through the walls, Tan Songyun, as if the city itself held its breath. Shukai's family had arrived in hushed secrecy, but secrecy was a fragile thing in their world. One whisper from a cousin to a friend of a reporter, and the entire entertainment industry was on fire. Rumors swirled. What could they possibly tell the police? Why now? The answer would unravel like a cinematic bombshell. The scene opens on Tan Songyun, pacing in her small studio apartment. The city lights beyond her window looked like shattered glass against the velvet night, and every vibration of her phone sent a shiver down her spine. Shukai had warned her, "My family isn't done yet. Be ready for anything." She didn't think anything would mean legal authorities. Meanwhile, Shukai sat in his car a block away from his family's gated estate, rain streaking the windshield like tears he refused to shed. His jaw was rigid, his hands trembling against the steering wheel. He could hear his mother's cold words from earlier that week, "We can't allow her to drag you down with her past." But what past? Tan Songyun's history was spotless, or so he thought. Inside the police station, Shukai's older brother leaned forward over the table, lowering his voice for dramatic effect. "There are things," he said slowly, "that the public doesn't know. Things she's hidden, and if they come out, Shukai's career and our family name will be in ruins." A young officer, clearly a fan of Shukai's dramas, blinked rapidly. "Are you certain?" he asked. "These are serious accusations." Shukai's mother slid a manila envelope across the table. The seal snapped like a gunshot. Inside were photos, old documents, and a letter. A detective's eyebrows rose as he scanned them, his expression shifting from skepticism to shock. Outside, a junior officer texted a friend. The message leaked within minutes. "Big Star's family just dropped evidence on his girlfriend. This is huge." Social media caught fire. Back in her apartment, Tan Songyun's phone buzzed again, this time with a message from her manager. "Songyun, the headlines are exploding. They're saying the ZUS accused you of fraud and manipulation years ago, before you even met Shukai. Are you okay?" Her knees buckled. Fraud? Manipulation? It was absurd. But memories surfaced, the time she'd been tricked into signing a shady contract as a rookie actress, the legal mess that followed, and how she'd quietly settled it to protect a friend. No crime. No fraud. But twisted by the right hands, it could be made to look damning. Shukai stormed into his family's mansion, soaked to the skin. The grand chandeliers and polished marble floors did nothing to soften the chill between him and his parents. "You went to the police." His voice was a blade. "You turned this into a scandal." His father stood, arms crossed. "We're protecting you. She's not who you think she is." "She's exactly who I think she is," Shukai snapped. "She's the woman who stayed by my side when the industry tried to crush me. She's the one who saved me from walking away from acting when everything felt empty. And you betray her without even asking for the truth." His mother's eyes flashed. "The truth is dangerous. And you're too blinded by love to see it." The next morning, cameras swarmed the streets as Tan Songyun stepped outside, wearing no makeup and a simple hoodie. But her posture was regal, her gaze unwavering. She walked straight into the police station, past reporters shouting questions. She turned to face the cameras only once, saying, "I have nothing to hide. And I have nothing to fear. Not anymore." The footage went viral within minutes. Fans flooded social media. "Stay strong, Songyun. Shukai better be at her side for this." He was. Shukai arrived moments later, his arm wrapping around her protectively as they entered the building together. Flashbulbs lit up like 1,000 stars, capturing an image that would trend worldwide, Shukai shielding Tan Songyun, his glare daring anyone to hurt her again. Inside, the detective questioned Tan calmly. She explained the old contract fiasco, even producing her own documents proving she'd been the victim, not the perpetrator. As evidence mounted in her favor, the tone in the room shifted from suspicion to sympathy. Meanwhile, outside, Shukai's brother fielded calls from furious relatives. "You've gone too far," one uncle barked. "The public's turning on us. They love her even more now." By afternoon, major news outlets reported. Initial investigation finds no wrongdoing by Tan Songyun. Evidence suggests she was framed years ago. The internet erupted in support. "She's innocent. The Shu family owes her an apology." Shukai never wavered. "That's real love." But the most breathtaking scene came that evening. Shukai and Tan Songyun, exhausted but unbroken, stood on the balcony of their apartment as the city glittered below. Shukai held her close, whispering, "Even my own family couldn't make me doubt you." Tears streaked her cheeks as she replied, "I was so scared you'd believe them." He kissed her forehead. "Not on my watch." Fans who caught a blurry photo of them on that balcony turned it into the most shared image of the week, a symbol of love under siege, of loyalty that refuses to break. The following day, Shukai's mother called him privately. Her voice trembled. "We made a mistake." Shukai closed his eyes, relief and exhaustion flooding him. He didn't gloat. He didn't rage. He simply said, "Then make it right." Hours later, an anonymous statement appeared on social media. A misunderstanding spiraled out of control. "We regret the pain caused to Tan Songyun and Shukai." The damage to the family's reputation was immense, but for fans, the drama only cemented Shukai and Tan Songyun's place as the ultimate couple, two people who stood tall in the face of betrayal, lies, and the weight of an entire industry. That night, Shukai and Tan Songyun returned to the hilltop where they'd once promised to face the world together. The same city lights twinkled below, but something had changed. Their bond had been tested, and it had survived. Tan Songyun leaned against him, whispering, "Do you ever get tired of fighting for us?" He chuckled softly, kissing her hair. "Never. Because with you, every battle is worth it." And somewhere far below, the world kept spinning, unaware that on that hilltop, two souls had quietly proven yet again that love, when it's real, can outlast even the most shocking secrets. The drizzle had turned into a full-blown storm by the time Shukai and Tan Songyun left the police station. The city streets shimmered with neon reflections on wet asphalt, but to them, everything outside their clasped hands was a blur. The whispers, the flashing cameras, the sirens, it all faded behind the pounding of their hearts. Shukai pulled her into the car, slamming the door as another camera flash exploded against the window. His jaw was tight, the muscles in his neck strained. "We're not hiding tonight," he muttered, voice low but unwavering. "If the world wants to watch, let them." Tan Songyun looked at him, really looked, and saw the man who had, hours earlier, faced his own blood for her. The man who had defied power, reputation, and now, even public scrutiny. Her eyes brimmed with tears, but she blinked them back. Crying now would feel too much like surrender. They didn't drive home. Shukai turned toward the highway instead, the city lights receding in the rearview mirror. When she finally asked where they were going, his lips curved into a faint, mischievous smile. "Somewhere no one can touch us," he said. The road snaked through dark hills until the skyline was nothing but a faint glow on the horizon. They pulled up to an old cliffside lookout where the world stretched beneath them like a living painting. Shukai killed the engine, and silence descended, thick, profound, almost sacred. He stepped out into the rain and opened her door, holding out his hand. "Come on," he said, voice softer now. "I need to breathe." She joined him under the stormy sky, the wind whipping her hair into wild tangles. The rain was cold against their faces, but it felt cleansing, like a baptism after the chaos. They stood shoulder to shoulder, staring down at the distant city that had tried to devour them. Shukai broke the silence first. "Do you know why I love you, Songyun?" She smiled faintly, though her eyes were rimmed red. "I'm not sure anymore. After tonight, maybe you shouldn't." He turned to her, cupping her cheeks, forcing her to meet his gaze. "I love you because you don't run. You don't fold. Even when the world twists your story, you stand. And that strength," he shook his head, emotion catching in his throat. "That strength saved me long before tonight." Her breath hitched. The rain traced their faces like tears neither wanted to shed. And then, without hesitation, she stepped into him, wrapping her arms around his waist. It wasn't the frantic clutch of fear, it was the quiet, desperate hold of two people who had chosen each other against impossible odds. But the night storms weren't done with them yet. Shukai's phone buzzed in his pocket, breaking the spell. A single text from his manager. "Brace yourself. Your family's evidence leaked online. It's trending #Tan Songyun scandal. Public opinion's a battlefield." Shukai's blood ran cold. He opened Weibo to see the hashtag exploding with speculation, grainy images from old contracts, captions twisted to suggest betrayal. But among the chaos were thousands of voices rising in defense. The Zus are grasping at straws. "She's innocent, we know her heart." #Stand with Songyun began trending within minutes. Songyun caught a glimpse of the feed over his shoulder. For a heartbeat, fear flickered across her face. "It's starting again," she whispered. "What if they ruin you this time?" Shukai turned to her, fierce and unyielding. "Then let them try. They don't know how strong we are." Back in Shanghai, Shukai's mother sat alone in her study, the glow of her phone illuminating a face twisted by regret. She scrolled through comments, fans calling her family cruel, heartless, outdated. A single image stopped her cold: Shukai, drenched in rain, cradling Tan Songyun under the storm. The caption beneath read, "If love looks like this, let it win." Her fingers trembled as she set the phone down. In her chest, something cracked, a mix of pride, shame, and dawning realization that her son's happiness was bigger than the family's pride. Meanwhile, an unexpected ally emerged. Director Chen, a respected figure who had worked with both Shukai and Tan Songyun, posted a blunt message to his millions of followers. "I've worked with Songyun for years. She is integrity, talent, and grace personified. The industry owes her better than baseless attacks." The post went viral, celebrities chiming in with support. Former co-stars shared candid photos of Tan Songyun comforting crew members, staying late to rehearse, donating quietly to charities. The narrative began to shift. Not only was she innocent, but the attack on her now looked like a cruel, desperate move by a powerful family losing control. Shukai and Tan Songyun didn't check their phones again that night. They stayed at the cliff until the storm eased, then drove to a small roadside inn, an unremarkable place where no one would look for China's most talked-about couple. They sat by the window of their room, sharing a single blanket, watching lightning fade over the hills. Tan traced circles on Shukai's palm, her voice barely audible. "Do you think your family will ever forgive us?" He kissed her temple, his answer firm but gentle. "This isn't about forgiveness anymore. This is about truth. And truth doesn't need their blessing." She let out a shaky laugh. "You make it sound so easy." "It's not easy," he admitted. "But it's worth it." At dawn, a new headline dominated every feed. "Police clear Tan Songyun, Shu family under fire for false accusations." Journalists were now camped outside the Shu estate, demanding a response. The family's patriarch released a brief, trembling statement. "We acted in haste. We were wrong." For fans, the apology was too little, too late. But for Shukai and Tan Songyun, it was enough to stop the bleeding. As the sun rose, painting the hills gold, Shukai took Tan Songyun's hand and lifted it high, just the two of them, no cameras this time. A silent vow passed between them: "We've survived worse. We'll survive this, too." And somewhere, in a city that had doubted them, the world began to believe in their love all over again.